Welcome, boys. Thanks for all the birthday messages, really. It's a rainy evening out today, so I thought, let's do a stream. I'm gonna be producing a little bit, gonna be working on a track that I actually worked on last stream. I started this track, and I think it actually sounds pretty good for what I have right now. We'll have to start working on the build-up, and yeah, so that's what's gonna happen today. Now, if you guys want to be part of a music production community where you can actually chat with me and other producers, check out the link in the description below this stream. It's actually a link to my Discord server. Then you can join and, well, be a part of a cool community about music production. So if you want to be part of that, I'll see you there. Can you teach how to make a nice bass line? Well, I might actually start working on a bass line today. I'm gonna be working on the build-up first, trying to at least get something done working towards the drop, and well, then we're probably gonna work on either some drums or some bass. I think we're gonna be working on some drums first, and then we might go into the bass. That's probably what we're gonna do. Now, we do need some really heavy bass, I think, for this. So if you have any ideas for what I should do, for this bass line, then definitely let me know. You think you can hear the rain? That's highly possible. It's actually pouring outside, and just a minute ago it was actually hailing, and I'm sitting right underneath a window, so you might actually hear that. Where's your SoundCloud? If you go on SoundCloud, just search for ARTFX, or just go to soundcloud.com/artfxdnb. Right now there are tracks on there, but those are mostly older tracks. I haven't really released a track in like a year or so, which is why I'm working really hard on the EP right now. But that's gonna be released soon, so yeah, that's gonna be dope. Can you save this stream? Yes, I'm actually saving this stream as well. This stream will be online on my channel after the stream is done. How can you get cool drum samples? That's actually pretty simple. There's countless of sample pack websites that sell sample packs right now. A lot of them actually have some pretty good samples in there. Kind of depends what you're looking for and what kind of genre you're trying to produce. But yeah, if you're looking for drum and bass or NEUROFUNK drum samples, definitely check out my sample pack on Black Octopus Sound, which is ARTFX NEUROFUNK drums. It's a pack I released on Black Octopus Sound, and personally, it's filled with drums that I would use a lot when I would make a track like that. No, this is not Ableton 10. I actually I submitted for the beta testing version, but I haven't got it yet. I also pre-ordered the new Ableton Live 10, so I hope to be having it, well, at the start of next year. Yeah, my packs are also available on Splice, so if you have if you're signed up for Splice, you can actually use Splice as well. So that might be something you can do when you have Splice. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to when you make a drum video. Well, actually, you might be seeing some drum production in this video, because it kind of depends on how quick we can work through the build-up, because the build-up right now is quite empty. I mean, I can play it. See, the build-up is like really empty right now. So we're definitely gonna have to work on that and add, well, a bunch of risers and a bunch of, well, yeah, probably some snare rolls or some tom rolls maybe. Yeah, so we're definitely gonna have to work on that. We need a whole bunch of epicness towards the drop, I guess. But yeah, before we can do that, we should actually... So can you explain how to create your own samples? Well, creating your own samples, it's not really that much different than working on a track. you know, when you create your own samples, what I usually do is, it kind of first depends on what kind of sample you want to make. If it's like drums, then obviously you want to start layering samples maybe, or working with synthesis to create some drums. But making samples, it's just well, basically it's just playing around with samples and patches and processing them until you have something that sounds good. And everything that sounds good, you're actually just going to save that to a sample. So there is not really I cannot really tell you how to make the samples. I mean, there's so many options, so many things you can do, that it's basically just a matter of experimenting with sound. That's basically what you're doing. And when you're making a track, you know, sound selection is really key, especially when it comes to drums. Selecting the right samples to work with is probably the best thing you should do. It's probably going to give you the best start for a good track. So and when you're making samples, yeah, it's really just experimenting, just doing a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't do, playing around with effects that you don't really know what they do, and just seeing what happens, or just using using effects that are maybe meant for processing drums and use them on a bass line, you know, stuff like that. That's definitely something that can really wield interesting results. So yeah, let's see. Let's get to it. So let's just add a little bit of a noise layer just to see if we can fill out the background a little bit more, because I think right now it sounds a little bit empty. Now I have a library of sounds that are actually really good for this. I grabbed them from a website, and that website, I don't think it's online anymore, but there's a whole bunch of similar websites right now. And what it was actually just a website that it was called Sound Transit, and Sound Transit was actually just a website of people posting field recordings that were basically recorded everywhere in the world, and you could just go on that website and just find sounds from all over the place and just download them. And these are usually just really long recordings of just atmosphere and stuff like that, and I find those are really great for filling out the background of your track. I think the website is not online anymore, but there are countless of others right now that are doing the same thing, and even then there's countless of other places where you can find field recordings and interesting atmosphere recordings to layer in your tracks. So I should actually have that folder, which is right here. Yeah, I still have it open because I use it quite a lot, and you can see it's just actually just a whole list of long recordings of just basically just a whole bunch of weird stuff. You can see here restaurant ambience, for instance. See, it's just just people talking and shit in a restaurant, and you would just well, find something interesting. And Tokyo Metro, let's just try that and drag it into a MIDI track. And let's see, I'm going to the one shot, let's do the gate and unwarp it, and let's just create a small MIDI clip. So the root key of simpler is C3, so and I want to keep that, so I'm just gonna do this, and I think I want to have the background noise loop every 2 beats, so I'm gonna make 2 notes right here, and I'm gonna drag this out so that we just extend it across the entire intro. And now we can actually just solo that, and we can hear basically what's in it. So I'm just gonna look for a part that I like the sound of. That actually sounds nice. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a fade in and a little bit of a fade out as well. And now, because this might actually contain quite a bit of a low end, I'm gonna put an EQ on here, and I'm just gonna filter out the low end, because as you can see there's quite a bit of it. So just filter that out, and I can drop the volume of this one as well to be quite low, and let's just see how that sounds. Now I'm not sure if you can actually hear that, but I'm listening on headphones right now, so that's actually the answer to your question. I was reading the chat right now, and yeah, I'm using headphones right now. I'm using my AKG K240 Mark II, if I'm correct. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure if you can actually hear that, but it's really subtle, but it still definitely adds to the track. I mean, if I turn it off, you really just hear that it becomes less full. It sounds emptier, while it's actually just a really subtle layer, because it's actually really quiet. And we can play around with the start point. I think it's actually in key now, because there's actually a little bit of a harmonic in there. Let's see. Where is that harmonic? Let's see if we can find it. It's definitely there. So it's the key of A, or A sharp. That means that we're not in key. That means if I bring it up, because we're in the key of F minor right here, so if I bring this up, it would mean that it's now C4, and a C is actually the top note of a F minor chord. So that completely works. It actually adds a little bit of a harmony, I think, even though it's really subtle. So yeah, I guess we'll just do that. We'll just work with it. We'll just keep it at the same pitch. That's nice. Thanks for all the birthday messages, guys. Really, thanks a lot. Really, really, really thanks a lot. I mean, I'm gonna be celebrating my birthday tomorrow with my family, so yeah, it's not really I basically have a day off today, so I thought, you know, since it's raining out and I'm not really gonna do anything with friends today, I thought, you know, let's just do a stream. So many birthday messages, so many. Where are you guys from, actually? Happy birthday from Russia. Damn, nice. Good to see I have actually people watching me in Russia. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so what should we do to the track? I think we should let's see, I want to add I think some sort of a crash to the start of the break, or the start of the build-up, actually. Now I might have something. That's pretty good. This one maybe. That one actually sounds nice. I want to add a bunch of reverb to this as well. Let's see, where are you guys from? Wow, so many. Ipswich, Ireland, France, Albania, Latvia, more France, Glasgow, Swedistan. That's nice. Hungary, India, and Panama. Wow. We've really got a worldwide audience right now, guys. That's really awesome. Yeah, we've got a few Scottish people right now. Let's see how many people are actually coming into the Discord server. We've got a few. Guys, if you want to be part of the Discord server that I'm running, where you basically can talk to me and a whole bunch of other producers and just talk about music production. You can show your tracks, you can get feedback as long as you give other people feedback as well, and just, you know, be part of an awesome community. And if you want that, check out the description below the stream, because there's a link to my Discord server, and we will be happy to see you guys there. I mean, we're trying to keep it cool there though, so don't start, you know, don't start shouting at other members for no reason. You know, don't, just be a nice guy and be part of the server and just contribute to the whole community. That's all I'm asking. And if you guys want to do that, then I'm happy to see you there. You've made some tracks, but they're terrible. Well, that might actually be a really good reason for you to join, because you will be able to get feedback and help from producers. So, I mean, I know personally, when I started out, I had a bunch of friends that made music as well. So, I mean, I had some people to communicate with and to actually show my tracks to, and get feedback from. But I know a whole bunch of producers who just don't have any friends that, who don't have any friends to actually show their tracks to, or, well, I shouldn't say they don't have any friends. They do have friends, but they don't have any producer friends. And, you know, you can show your tracks to any random friend, but he's probably not really going to be able to give you any feedback. So having a bunch of producer friends that you can actually show your tracks to is really valuable. And in my opinion, it could actually help you a lot to get better at making music. So that's actually what the whole Discord server is about. Yeah, so we need to add a whole bunch of reverb to this crash. Now, I'm a big fan of the Valhalla reverbs. I really love the Valhalla reverbs, and I'm going to use, let's do the vintage verb. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of people in the server which aren't that good yet. I mean, it's not like I'm looking for the best music producers out there, because the whole purpose of the whole server is to actually provide a place for beginner music producers to learn new things, you know. And there's one thing, you know, you can post a comment on my video and get some help that way, but it's, I think, a lot more valuable if you can ask help from people directly. I mean, that's a lot more interesting than actually getting help from a YouTube comment. But, you know, that's my opinion. That reverb is not long enough. We need something very long. Let's bring the pre-delay down. And let's just see. I want it to sound really bright. So the color is gonna go to now. And bright hall maybe. That's nice. And let's add a low cut. Welcome Joel, Yule, Jew. Long time no see, you've been here since 2k subs. Man, you've been here a long time then. We're almost at 52,000 I think, so we're doing pretty good. Basically, if you guys wanna see my streams more frequently, and if you just wanna see more videos from me in general, definitely subscribe to my channel as well. I mean, I'm trying to get up to 100,000 subs, and I'm pretty much, well, I've pretty much been around 50k for a good time now, so I'm slowly moving up, but we're only halfway, guys. We need to get up to 100k. Come on, we can do it. Yeah, Discord, yeah, it's pretty much a chat room. Yeah, that's it. It's a chat room, but you can also do voice chats, and I think you can also share your screen now, actually, so it's becoming better and better. So yeah, definitely check out Discord if you haven't already. So I think this sounds nice. Might be a little bit too heavy in the mids though, so let's drop those a little bit. And we need a riser. We need a really big riser here, so we might actually have to build it out of separate layers. What should we make the riser with? I think we should do it in Contact. Now, Contact is gonna take a little bit of a moment to load, which gives me a little bit of time to actually answer a few questions. And let me just bring up Contact real quick. Because I really like Contact for rises. It's really good, especially there's a bunch of libraries that are really just aimed at making cinematic rises, which I think are really good for NEUROFUNK. So we're just gonna load up Contact right now. So if you guys have any questions, post them in the chat right now, because I'm watching the chat at the moment. Are you hyped about Live 10? Well, I actually pre-ordered Ableton Live 10 the moment I got noticed that it was actually announced. I pretty much pre-ordered it straight away, especially when I heard that they fixed the pitch bend bug, which I was really starting to get annoyed about. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty hyped about it. I really wanna. I'm especially really looking forward to using the new Echo device. I really think the Echo looks awesome. It really makes me think of Soundtoys Echo Boy. So if you've used Soundtoys Echo Boy, which is like an analog style tape delay, and the Echo device really made me think of it. Just the way it sounds, you know, the sound of it really made me think of Echo Boy, and that's one of my favorite delay plugins, I have to say. Chase MIDI, yeah, that's actually really good as well. The Chase MIDI future really looked great. Yeah, I looked at the changelogs, and I think there was actually part of it that a line in there that told me that the pitch bend bug is actually fixed. So, I mean, I can't confirm it, but if that's the case, then I'm really happy, because, I mean, I talked about it in my last stream, and it's really, really starting to get on my nerves. I mean, the new wavetable synth, yeah, the new wavetable synth actually looks really nice. I mean, I use Serum mostly for wavetable stuff, so I don't really know how much I'll use it, but seeing that I still prefer Operator over FMA just for the sake of it being integrated in Ableton Live, and just for the sake of it being really light on the CPU, I can imagine I would really like the wavetable synth as well, and I would actually start using that over Serum, just because it's so light on the CPU. So, but you know, I can't really say that right now because I'll have to play with it first. I haven't really been able to play with Ableton Live 10, so I'm waiting for confirmation of the beta version. I've actually signed up for that, but there's probably a whole lot of people waiting for that beta, so I'm not even sure if I'll get it before Live 10 is released. How can you make a sound that sounds like it is behind us, kind of like 3D audio? Noisia tends to do that on some songs. Since you're only working in the stereo field when you're working on music, unless you're working on, you know, Dolby surround music for film, there is not really a real way to make sound appear like it's further in the back. But you can trick your ears, and the way you have to do that is you have to understand a little bit how sound works. Low frequencies travel further than high frequencies. So if a sound is further away, then you would hear less of the high frequencies and more of the, or you would hear, basically you would start to hear less and less of the high frequencies the further the sound gets away from you. So if you want to make a sound further away, what I would start with is at least rolling off the high end just a little bit. You don't want to do it too much. You don't want to make it too, you know, like too clear that you've rolled off the high end. You really just want to roll off a little bit of the high end, or maybe even do like a shelf on the high end. Then what you should do is, another thing that happens when a sound goes further away from you is you start hearing more of the resonance of the atmosphere of the environment around you, and you actually start hearing the reflections of the sound bouncing off of objects that are in the space that the sound is playing in. So to recreate that is really simple. Just add a little bit of reverb. So rolling off the high end and adding a little bit of reverb generally tends to push something further back in the mix, and I think that's the best way to do it if you're working in stereo. Just using a little bit of reverb and rolling off the high end, and maybe even bringing it down in volume a little bit, and that will usually help to, well, make it sound like it's not in the middle, in the center of the mix. You can also work with panning stuff to the sides a little bit. That will usually help as well, but you have to be really careful with that because you don't want to get issues with your mono conversion. So those are just a couple of things you can work with to make something sound like it's further away from you or behind you. Will you finish this track on stream? I probably won't finish this track today, but I will try to finish this track on the stream. I've been wanting to put this track on my upcoming EP, and I'm still working on the EP. I'm really putting in a lot of work at the moment, and that's the thing, you know, I'm working on these tracks, but I really just want to release the tracks when they're done, you know, when I'm happy with them, and I'm currently not happy enough with them. There's a few tracks I might actually release as a free EP or a couple of free single releases, and just work on some new stuff for the EP, because lately my productions have really been increasing in terms of quality, in terms of production quality, which has been the thing with my productions lately in general. You know, every time I produce something, it tends to sound better and better than what I've done before. So I'm really improving a lot, but I'm also it's taking a long time for the EP to get finished, but I'm getting there. I'm actually slowly finishing tracks now. Have you made some half time lately? No, I've actually not made too much half time. I am looking into doing a breakbeat track soon, something around 120, 130 beats per minute, and then really doing like a neuro breakbeat kind of thing. I'm really digging that tempo at the moment, so I might actually go for that. My girlfriend says happy birthday. Well, give her a big thanks from me back. What's your favorite all-purpose orchestral contact library? There's a bunch of libraries I really like, but I have to be honest, Spitfire Albion 1 is an amazing library for strings. I'm not sure if I'm using it in this particular instance. I don't think I am. No, I'm not using Albion 1 right now, but it's absolutely insane. Albion 1 really sounds amazing. That's something I have to say. Will you ever consider doing a feedback stream? I think I will. I'm looking into when I could be streaming more frequently, and you know, I'll probably be doing a production stream every week, or at least that's what I'll try to do. And you know, I might actually be able to do 2 streams a week and do 1 production and 1 feedback stream. I'm just trying to to look at what is possible for me right now with the time I have, and that actually would be, well, really good if I could do 2 streams a week. But for now, I'm just doing streams at the moment that I have time to do them.
Wrecked, son!
Thanks for the subscription, man. Thanks for subscribing. You should be on Collab Alliance V2. Are they actually doing a version 2 of the Collab Alliance thing? I mean, I haven't seen anything about it yet, but on the other note though, I saw the first Collab Alliance, and I had to say, I mean, just watching it was painfully as a producer. I mean, I probably wouldn't really be able to justify such a big collab. I mean, I would probably get annoyed at some point by the track just taking so long, or I don't know, just people changing the vibe all the time. I don't know. I mean, I find working together with 1 or 2 people is difficult enough, so working together with like 4 or 5, 6 or 7 people is well, it's really easy for the track to get scrapped. I mean, it kind of already happened a bit with the previous Collab Alliance, but you know, in the end it worked out, and in the end they finished the track, but it wasn't really easy, to say the least. Is working with Mr. Bill in your future at all? I haven't been talking to Bill at all about doing collabs, but I'll never say no. I'm always interested to talk about stuff like that, you know? So let's just get into making a riser. If you guys have any more questions, let them know in the comments, and I'll try to get back at them. we need rise and hit. Rise and hit is one of my favorite tools for making rises. It's an absolute, well, it's an absolute great piece for making rises. It's made by Native Instruments, and if you guys have Complete, you should actually already have this. I think it's part of Complete. And it's great because you can actually specify the rise time in the amount of bars, or the amount of beats, sorry. So you can see right here we have this slider, and I can just say I want the rise time to be 32 beats. Now, we have one issue though. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. And that is that this section is, let's see. This is 4 beats. 1632. So we've got 64 beats of build-up right here, and we are only able to do a maximum of 32 beats on the rise. So how are we gonna do that? Well, I've actually been trying to find this out for a whole bunch of Kontakt libraries, especially the ones that work with orchestral percussion loops and stuff like that, that have these rhythmic packages that you can just layer stuff and, you know, really come up with interesting percussive layers that sound cinematic. But the thing is, when you work on drum and bass and you work on 170 to 180 beats per minute, most of these loops are too fast. They're playing back too fast, and a lot of these libraries don't have an option to play them back at half the tempo, so that they actually are in time and they're actually playing at the correct speed. Most of these libraries don't have that option. But if you go in here, click this little thing right here and turn on the master tab, in that master tab there's actually a BPM selector right here, and normally you can't really do anything because it's basically just grabbing the tempo from your Ableton project. But if you click this external button, you can see that these other options become available now, and the tempo has switched to 120 beats per minute. Now we can double click that and we can actually change it to 86, because I'm working on 172. So 86 times 2 is 172. So now we're playing the Kontakt instrument at 86 beats per minute. So now 32 beats of rise time actually equals 64 beats of rise time. So now we should be able to get a riser that is exactly the length of this clip. And let's see if I'm right. Let's bring down the volume a bit. So you can see it's now rising. And normally it would have been over right now, but it's continuing because we've changed the tempo in Kontakt. And I'm so happy that I found that out, because it really took me a lot of time to find that out. But yeah, so that works. Now I want to stop that build right here, and I want to stop it right here. So I want to take off 2 beats. So that means that I want to go take off 1 beat right here, because remember 32 beats is actually 64. So if we take off 1 here, it's actually gonna equal 2 beats in the final thing right here. So that means that it's actually gonna stop right here. Let's just bring that volume up a bit. So let's see, any tips on how to make mixes loud? Well, making mixes loud is just a matter of balancing your mix. making sure that every element has its own place, every element is EQ'd and filtered in the right way, so you're not really using frequencies that you don't need. And that way you can get the most loudness out of your track. Then it's just a matter of carefully saturating things and compressing it, and well, that's basically what works for me. Making rises is the most tedious part of producing. Yes and no. For me, the most tedious part is actually arranging the drop. Arranging the drop is for me the most tedious part. It's where I usually spend most time on, and usually I'm just spending a lot of time just dragging bits around, changing the order of things, rearranging stuff. That's mostly what pretty much all of the time goes to. What drum sampler do you use as your go-to? What do you mean? I don't really use a drum sampler. I mainly just use samples. Honestly, producers are almost like engineers with all these workarounds. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be clever with what you do. But, you know, that's what knowledge is for. Yeah, I do use kick 2 every now and then, but only if I feel the kick drum I have needs a solid bottom end, solid low end frequencies. That's when I'll use kick 2, or just use any synth to make a nice bottom end. Hello Yashar, thanks for the birthday message, man. Highly appreciated. What's the difference between saturation and overdrive? Saturation is just really subtle distortion, basically, and overdrive tends to be a lot more aggressive. So overdrive is a distortion you would hear a lot on electric guitars, for instance. A lot of those are actually overdrives, and saturation is usually just really subtle distortion. That's basically it. What do you do to keep your projects very clean and not get lost? Well, as you can see, I made myself a template which just has everything laid out that I would need in my tracks. So you can see I have my drums right here at the top. Those are my drums, and they are all going through this drum bus track. And then I have my basses here. Now I usually have two groups because sometimes I want to have like a bass in the intro, and that means that I'll use less distortion on that bass in general. It'll usually be compressed less hard, so I'll like to just have two bass groups, one for the basses in the drop, so really for like the reeses and stuff like that, and in the intro, like right now, I have this really little bass sound that actually has a little sub to begin with. It's mostly just low mids that you're hearing. And I don't really want to process that as much as I'm going to be processing the basses in the drop. So that's why I like to have those two separate. And then they run into this bass track again, which is in this bass bus track. Then I have my synths, which I'm doing the same thing for. So I have my intro synths and the synths for the drop. And then I have my instruments, which are usually just all the pads and the atmospheric sounds and stuff like that. And those are combined with the ambience and the effects, which are then combined into this Atmos bus group. And all these bus tracks, these black ones, are then routed into this stereo bus track, which is where I can, well, maybe apply some subtle saturation to the full mix before it goes into the master track. And that's how I keep everything organized. You can definitely tell you have your sound and it sounds massive. Well, if that's the case, then I'm happy, because I've been trying to get my own sound for a long time. And I mean, getting your own sound is mostly just producing a lot and just, you know, finding your own little tricks and techniques that work. I think that's what creates your sound mostly. What's that comparison track you have? That's actually pretty good tip that I can give you. I can actually take out this track because it shouldn't be here. But my comparison group, I have this on in every project, and this is basically part of my template as well. So it's just a collection of few tracks that I like the sound of. And these tracks change all the time depending on what track I'm making, but I just have a bunch of reference tracks in here that I can quickly reference my own track to. Now, the reason how I would do this, and I see a lot of people referencing the tracks, but the best way to do it is to create a group and to route the output of that group straight to the output of Ableton, so it actually bypasses the master track. So if I put any processing on here, like I have a FabFilter Pro L here, just to bring the loudness up a little bit while I'm producing, these reference tracks are now actually not running through that limiter. So I can have these tracks playing at just the volume that they should be, and then have my own master be, well, pretty much at the same volume, and then I can just, you know, play my track, and I think they are actually brought down a bit now. Yeah, so they're at -8 dB, so I should bring these up to 0. So now if I play this, play my track, see, I can just switch back and forth between them to kind of like check the difference in terms of how loud they are and how the frequencies are distributed across the mix. I'm not really gonna do it in the stream because I don't want to get screwed with copyright, but yeah, that's basically just what I do. And then at the top I have this one resample track, which is basically just an audio track where I've set the input to resampling, and I can just record arm this track whenever I wanna see the waveform of my own track, to see how it visually looks, and then I can just press record and see my track. And by doing that, you can actually see the difference between your track and the references, and you can really clearly just spot out if it's loud enough or if it should be louder, or, you know, any issues like that. You can also really clearly see when there are any issues with peaks that are jumping up too much that you should control. So yeah, that's just what I do. That's why I have that little comparison group track, which I think is really helpful. It's something I do a lot. What do you think about Ableton Live 10? Well, I've said it already, but I'm really looking forward to it. That's all I can say. I can't really say anything about the new devices or anything like that, but I'm looking forward to actually playing around with it. I really like the integrated Max for Live thing as well. That's actually pretty cool, because it means we don't have to deal with Max for Live loading screens anymore, which is awesome. Well, we might get a loading screen, but we might get the loading screen at the start of Ableton, when we start up Ableton, instead of when we drag in our first Max for Live device. So let's get into making this riser. Now the greatest thing about this is that you can actually, you have multiple layers that you can build your riser from. So as you can see, we have a total of 4 layers, and I can press this search icon right here, and that brings up the sound library. Now here you can actually choose a whole variety of layers, and we're currently in the orchestra library. And let's just try one. I'm gonna use this one, Paternoster. Don't really like the sound of this one, to be honest. Revived Pizzicati. I'm not sure why this one is not playing. As you can see, the playhead marker is not really playing on this one. That's weird. Let's just try one of the other ones. Never saw that before, actually. The Storm. I think I want to have something that starts off a little bit quieter. About that. That's an interesting one. Let's tune it down a full octave. And we should bring this one down an octave as well. And now we can play with some of these effects. So let's see what we have. Let's just try the stereo opener. So that really brings out the stereo field in this, which I think is pretty nice, but I want to automate that, which I think is possible. How do we do that? Oh yeah, that's how we do it. Now we can go into the mod view, which is this one, and let's see, reversed curve. So what it's doing now is it's actually starting in stereo and it's slowly becoming mono towards the end of the riser. And I think we can play around with this. So let's do a little bit of a curve. I think that sounds good. And I think we should just make these mono. Yeah, let's just make everything mono right here. So that's the first layer. And I can add a little bit of reverb if I want, but you know, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna add my own reverb later on. But this is the first layer, and the best thing about this whole library in Kontakt is that you can layer multiple layers on top of each other. So I can just go into the voices library maybe, and let's just look for something. Unlenching choir. Not sure what that means, but let's see how it sounds. So I like the sound of that. The only thing I'm wondering about is if we might have to change this layer. Let's see. Let's try... a brass swell. Has it actually still saved our... No. So let's do this again. Let's open this up. Let's drop this in here. Let's do our reversed curve. Add a curve like that. Okay, I really like this rising. Yeah, I really like this rising. Do you ever use Substance? I have used Substance before, but I don't really like it too much. I don't really like the interface too much, so I don't really work with it a lot, to be honest. What about the loudness war? What's your level pre-master for your track, and how much dynamic range do you keep when finishing? When I mix a track, I usually have my drums peaking at -8 dB. That's where I'll start. Then the bass is usually sitting a little below that, or sometimes as well on -8 dB. So the drums and the bass are usually pretty level, and then I just mix everything around the drum and the bass. So I just mix everything so that it sounds good together with the bass and the drums and the level that those two have. And then I usually have, well, between 6 and 4 dB of headroom left on the master, and it's just a matter of adding a limiter and just bringing that loudness up. I don't really pay too much attention to how loud my tracks are and how much dynamic range is in it. I just work by ear, and I just really pay attention to how it sounds. You know, obviously you should not go too far until it actually starts to sound bad, but you can get a lot of loudness out of a track and actually get away with it. It completely depends on the genre as well, to my opinion. Yeah, with -8 dB I mean the peak value. So -8 dB is just the peak level of my drums, and I'll usually just have, like, you know, some kind of saturator or soft clipping, or sometimes limiting, but I like to stay away from limiting on my drums. I usually just do some soft clipping or some saturation to bring some loudness out of the drums. That usually works. Maybe some sidechain on that reverse. Yeah, that could actually work. We could add a sidechain to that. Do you use the Ableton metering to check your levels? No, personally I just really do it by ear. I just listen to the levels, and that's how I do it. I do like to have a metering plugin on my master, which I somehow have not on this particular project. Let's see where it is. It's Brainworks BX meter, which I'll usually have on the end of my master chain. And I just have that so that I can see the loudness and the dynamic range, just to be sure. Now come on. Okay, that's taking a little bit too long. there it is, finally. So yeah, I usually just have this on my master track, and you know, it just shows me the loudness, it shows you the RMS level, and pretty much shows you the dynamic range. And the main purpose I have this for is for the correlation meter, because the correlation meter actually tells you whether or not your track will sound good if you convert it to mono. That's the thing that a lot of people don't know about, but the correlation meter actually dates back from the time when people were using vinyl, and when your tracks would be pressed on a vinyl record. Now, the correlation meter, basically what happens is you want to make sure that your track stays in the 0 to +1 range on the correlation meter, because when it goes below the 0 mark, you would actually get into issues when you press your track to vinyl. What would happen is that the needle of the vinyl record would actually skip out of the groove when it goes into the negative side, so that's why that meter is there. But you can still use it, because nowadays you don't really press too much to vinyl anymore, but this meter still tells you if your track is perfectly is gonna sound good in mono or not. Basically anything in the negative side will mean that there is a lot of phase cancellation going on, and when you convert that to mono, you're gonna lose a whole lot of your sound. But when you stay in the positive side of this meter, converting it to mono is usually just gonna, well, preserve a lot of the track, and it's gonna sound pretty good. So we can actually see how this is going right now. So we're in the positive side, clearly. So you can see we're now actually dropping into the negative side here, which might have to do with that riser, but it might also have to do because we're basically having really little instruments going on right here. That usually brings, especially when you have like really little going on and you have something with a really wide sound, that'll usually make this meter jump into the negative side. But we can fix it, you know, we can fix it by just adding some mid-side EQing or anything like that. And sometimes you don't even have to fix it in the end. I'm not gonna bother with it right now. I'm just gonna, usually when I'm done with the track, I'll go back and just look at the track on the meter and see if it looks right on the metering. You know, if it's going into the negative side on that phase correlation meter, I'll just go into the project and try to find which particular sound is causing it, and then I'll just process that with a mid-side EQ to get rid of the frequencies that are actually causing that phase cancellation. And that's just all I'll do. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of good meters. I mean, for LUFS, I actually like the Julian loudness meter, which is actually a free metering plugin, I think, and it's a really good metering plugin for LUFS. So this actually tells you your loudness with the new LUFS scale, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't tell you the phase correlation, which if it would have had the phase correlation meter, it would be a perfect plugin for me to use, but it doesn't. And to be perfectly honest, I don't care too much about the whole loudness war. I just make music that I think sounds good, and if it's loud, then it's loud. If it's quiet, it's quiet. That's how simple it is. Now we are getting something here, which I think comes from the reverb on this particular sound. Although I don't have a reverb on here. Might have to have used the reverb in Serum. because something sounds a little bit weird in this sound, in this layer. And I think it's the serum reverb. Happy birthday, how do you sort the plugins like that? First of all, thanks for the happy birthday, but how do you sort your plugins like that? Well, it's mostly just making the folders when you install your plugins. That's basically it. Just making folders, subfolders for all the different types of effects and then installing the plugins in the right folders. That's just it. It's a really tedious job to do, but if you do it, and if you're like me and you get a lot of plugins sent to you to test or to make videos about or stuff like that, or if you just buy a lot of plugins, then it can definitely pay off to organize your plugins into a neat folder. Because I remember when I was working on FL Studio and it would just be this endless list of plugins, and it would just really make it difficult to find the right ones. You know, I would forget that I have like I would have like a whole bunch of different compressors, and I would literally forget about most of them because I just can't find them back in this endless list of plugins. And just having like a folder for compressors and just being able to open that and just have all my compressor plugins neatly organized is a really good thing. Now I haven't really organized everything. As you can see, there's a couple of different ones in here. Like I have the Melda production bundle that's just sitting in one folder, and you know, I have a bunch of those, but wave stuff is all situated in the waves folder. But yeah, that's basically how I do that. Really pays off to do it. So yeah, I think it's the reverb in here. Yeah, we're using the reverb in this bass patch. To be honest, it's not really adding too much other than it's adding a little bit of a tail to the sound, which I think is only muddying the sound up a bit. So let's just get rid of that reverb. Let's see how that sounds. I mean, we're still getting the same quality from that bass. Happy birthday, brother. Tell me about your mindset creating neuro bass lines. Yeah, well, I could actually talk a bit about neuro basses right now, because I will have to do and make some basses for this track. We're about 1 hour into the stream. I've answered quite a bunch of questions, so I think maybe we should do some bass. Making bass sounds, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. You can do it within the project that you're making a track in. That's perfectly fine. You can add a synth and start with 2 detuned saw waves, add something like a filter, maybe a bandpass or a low pass filter, and just start automating things. Then run it through some distortion, and that's usually a good place to start. But creating neurobasses usually eats up a lot of resources from your computer. So what I like to do is actually split up the sound design and the arrangement sessions. So what I have is, as you can see, I have this ARTFX final toolbox, which is basically just a collection of samples and sounds and presets and recs that I made. Now, I've just started this folder. I have another one, which is right here, which is a lot bigger. As you can see, this is my old toolbox folder, and this just contains samples that I made myself. And I can go in here and I can see we have, for instance, a folder bass long recess. So these are just some recesses that I made in the past. And I'm gonna drop the volume a bit of the preview because this might be quite loud. So see, that's just a bass that I made. And this is in the key of F, so you can just put that into a sampler and work from there, you know, put it in a sampler and start rearranging things. And I have basically a lot of those, so I'm now starting a new folder, which I've got right here, and we've got like a whole bunch of recesses that I made. So And I can just go in here and, you know, say this is a MIDI track, so let's put a sampler in here, and then we can just drag the sound into a sampler and work with the sound from there. So I can go in here and I can take this sound, drag it in, and just create like some notes. So we're in the key of F. I'm gonna set the root key to F2, and we have F2 right here. So now we can just actually, you know, maybe create something like this. You can hear that that already creates some kind of a interesting sound. And you just want to find something that sounds interesting. Now, you might have to just play around with the particular sound that you throw in here. I also have a bunch of these just really basic Reeses. So I can just take any of these and just take that sound. And we have a little bit of a click on the start. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Well, I guess it's good for now. And then it's just a matter of adding filtering. So I find bandpass filters work really well. Usually we can also play around with the envelope. And it's just a matter of creating a rhythm that you like, and then you just have to process that. So I might have to go in here and maybe add some, add a notch filter maybe, to scoop out some of those low mids. And now we would just have to add some distortion to this. So we could try the amp. Amp is usually a good one to start with. How much do you bounce to audio, or do you make most in the sampler? I actually bounce a lot to audio. Usually when I'm done with the intro, I'll just bounce all of those stuff to audio samples, mainly, just to save CPU for the drop. But that's usually what I'll do. So here, and the same goes for basses actually. When I'm happy with a section, I'll just bounce that to audio. Kind of like helps me to move on and not get stuck on the same section for weeks in a row. I don't know how long I can follow the stream anymore. I'm tired as fuck. Don't worry, Datacode. This stream is gonna be online on my channel. So if you want to see the stream, you can always check it back later. So see, that really made it loud. And that's just one way how you can do it. I like to work with pitch bends as well. Just you can also add like a loop point in here, which would allow you to do to do pitch bends and stuff like that. So we could do something like this and drop it down. And turn on the glide. See, that's pretty much a start for a Neurobass. I guess that works. So yeah, that's just how I would start. Just, you know, work with a sample that you've made. And otherwise it's just a matter of using a lot of filtering. That's mostly what I'll do. But I'm not really gonna start working on a bass yet, because I don't know what kind of bass I need. I usually try to it depends on what I start with making a track. Sometimes I start with the bass, sometimes I start with the intro. Now usually I'll start with the intro because I like to I like to basically just work through the track from start to finish. So I find that when I start making a drop first, then I usually can't come up with a good intro. Or I come up with a good intro, but it doesn't sound good with the drop that I created. And I find that when I start working on the intro first and actually have a solid build-up in place, it becomes easier to make a drop and to visualize what kind of drop would work after that. So I think we should work on the build-up first. Bass from Serum. No, I don't think that bass was from Serum. That Reese came from... I think it came from Silent. Yeah. So that was just a Reese from Silent 1. Just a really simple Reese. Yeah, basically just start working with, you know, the easiest thing to do is just create one long note with a resample and just start filtering that. That's the easiest thing to come up with good neurobasses, and just, you know, make a long clip and just create a whole bunch of interesting modulations and then just chop them up and rearrange them. And you might have to create a dedicated sub underneath it that just plays the low end, and then just have the mid-range basses that you chop up high passed and layer those on top of the sub. That will work perfectly fine. And that's pretty much how a lot of the drum and bass lines are created. You usually find in drum and bass, if there is if there is musicality in the tracks, then it's usually in the intros and the breakdowns, where you can get away with having a melodic thing, but then during the build-up it'll usually switch to just a root note of the track. So in this case that would be the key of F, and you just continue the key of F during the whole build-up, and then you just drop into a drop, which is most of the time pretty atonal. It's most of the time pretty much centered around the root note of the track, and that's just going to continue throughout most of the drop, with maybe a few variations on the end of a phrase that include some melodic content, but most of it is just going to be based around the root note of the track. And I find with neuro tracks, with drum and bass in general, that's usually what works best. You know, you don't want to do too much melodic stuff in the drop, because that usually takes away from how heavy the drop actually sounds. Have you used Native Instruments Form? Actually no, I haven't used Native Instruments Form at all, so no. Somebody said add a bit of sidechaining to that riser. That could work. I actually have a dedicated sidechain trigger track here. I think we should... What kind of rhythm should we do? Like a standard drum and bass rhythm, or should we do a 1/4 beat sidechain rhythm? I think this could work. And then I'll go into here, go into the riser, and let's go and take the Live 8 compressor. And take the input from my sidechain trigger track. Let's reduce the release time a bit. Let's see how that riser sounds now. I think that works. Other rhythm we could do is more of a drum and bass rhythm. I think I like this rhythm more. I think that's a pretty cool rhythm to actually do on the riser. I think we need more though. Let's see. Let's see. We have a brass hit. We could use this brass hit on the start of the build-up. And we might have to filter the riser. I'm actually pretty happy with the riser as it sounds right now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to freeze and flatten the riser itself, so that we don't have to deal with the contact instrument anymore. Layering Neurobass with some processed Foley. Yes, that works. You can always layer a little bit of Foley on top, but I usually do that on the end when I've got my basses done. Just add a bit of Foley to make it sound better. But yeah, that really works. It can really add a more organic feeling to your track. And the same goes for just having a bit of Foley in the background of the track. It doesn't necessarily have to be a layer on the bass line. It can also be a layer on something else, or it can also be a layer in the track itself. How does Dimension and Wilkinson in their new track Rush make that drop and make it so powerful? To be honest, I don't know. I haven't heard the track, so I don't know what they did in the drop. But I would just say it's just a combination of all the things that I talk about in my videos. Just a combination of good mixing, good EQing, and just good leveling. You know, the main thing how to make something loud is just filling out the frequencies. And if you have a sound, sometimes you just want to add a bit of saturation to it to, you know, bring up certain harmonics in the sound, and that will fill up the frequencies. I find that's just usually a lot. That's just usually what you'll do a lot. Just saturating sounds and just adding a little bit of things here and there to make it sound a bit fuller. Just like I added that little bit of noise in the intro, which I think we could actually extend during the build-up. So what should we do? think I had a synth sound in here. Yeah, I had this synth layer here. Might be able to play around with that for a bit. And I should drop the sidechain compressor back on my riser track. And I might just want to add a little bit of a volume automation to here, just so that we can have this come in over time a little bit more. Let's do it on the first half, so that let's just do this. Let's add an EQ to it as well. And now let's do that little bit of mid-side EQing. So I'm gonna high pass the mid bend, and I'm also gonna high pass the side bend, but I'm gonna high pass it a bit higher, so that mostly just the low mids are just completely mono, and it's just the top frequencies where the stereo content is. Let's see. Do we have... That one might work in the build-up.
Riggedy, riggedy, wrecked, son!
Thank you again. I'm trying to see who subscribed, or let's see. Damn, my PC is becoming slow right now. Oh well. To the one who subscribed, thank you. I'm not sure who subscribed, but thanks a lot. Playthrough so far. Sure, let's do a little playthrough. And this is basically the section what I'm working on right now. Working on the build-up. I'm not too sure about that kick drum building up. I might actually do something else. Maybe do like a snare roll or something like that. I'm not sure about the kick. I don't really like that kick drum building up. Yeah, it's a bit too loud, that's one thing for sure. But I don't know, I don't really like that kick drum roll. I think it's a bit too obvious, you know? Kick drum rolls in the build-up have been done so many times already, that I think you know, you can do something more original than that. I just threw it in there in the last stream, I think it was. I might have done it after the stream though, but I just threw it in just a little bit. Yeah, the kick is low passed as well, so that's because in the intro I'm using a low passed version of the kick, as you can see. So in the drop I'm actually gonna have to add like a top layer to this kick, because the high end of this particular kick drum isn't really too pleasing, I think. We might be able to check if I turn this one off. I mean, it's not too bad, but we can probably add a layer on top of it to make it sound better. I do like the low end of it. It's a little bit too loud maybe. But you know, it doesn't really matter how it sounds on its own. It's just a matter of how it sounds in the track, and I think that sounds pretty good. So I'm thinking of actually doing doing a little break thing here in the build-up. And I might be able to use this one. Let's see, we need this. Let's see. Let's set this to repitch. What did you do so the new track has the same color as the group? That's actually part, you can set that in the options. So if you go to the options of Ableton, I think it should be in the look and feel folder. Here, track and clip colors, auto assign track colors, and you just turn that on, and then you do here on the clip color, I think you should just turn it on. Just turn auto assign track colors on, and then it will just take the color of the group. I think that's the thing you should do. So we might want to have this come in during the second half of the build-up, but I'm just trying to see how it sounds right now. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of that kick drum. So I'm just gonna turn it off for now. Let's see, it has detected all the warp markers the right way, so we can set this to the beats mode and set it to transient and just reduce this a little bit. Makes it a little bit shorter. And now what I want to do is I want to compress this a bit, because the shuffled notes, the shuffled sounds are a little bit quiet compared to the snares in this clip. So I think if I compress this a bit, I can control that snare drum. So let's just bring the attack all the way down. So that's good. Let's add an EQ8 to here. Get rid of some of that low end, because there's quite a bit of sub in here. And we can use some filtering on here to bring it in. Sidechain on shuffle to kick. Yeah, we could do that. But there is no kick here, so I might just sidechain it to that same thing as I did with the effects layer. See how that sounds. Let's copy that over to this track. I actually think without the sidechain sounds better. When you compress like that with the threshold so much and bring up the gain, are you always just checking the levels on your channels as it would change on the meter? I'm not too sure what you mean. I'm just squashing the snare basically, because you can see the snare is just a lot louder than these parts. So this snare is a lot louder, and you know, obviously I could also just raise the volume of this particular clip. That would work as well, but I really like that little bit of squash sound on the snare, because it's just going to be a layer in the build-up. It's not really going to be a main drum layer. It's just there to fill the build-up up and give it some more rhythm. And I think here we should actually just start doing this, and then this, I think. I guess that would work, and then add some filtering to it. So I think we need two filters. I think we need a high pass and a low pass filter. Audio uses sidechains in any situations. I think you mean many situations, but his tracks sound too mechanical. Well, audio's tracks in general sound really mechanical. They sound really technical. They don't really sound organic, but I think that's part of his sound. That's kind of like the sound that he's going for. So I think it just perfectly works fine. There's a whole bunch of producers actually that have that, that have that particular sound. In my opinion, I like stuff to be a little bit more organic, especially during the intros. But you know, whatever floats your boat. I mean, I have to say, his stuff sounds nice. I like his tracks. But it's not really the sound that I usually go for. I mean that by bringing up the gain on the compressor, you're essentially gain staging. So would you have to keep checking the level of your drums to make sure you're not clipping? Well, on this particular track, what I've done is I just turn on the soft clipping on the glue compressor, which basically to just make sure it's not clipping. And then you can just drive that makeup gain up until it sounds good. A way to actually even out the levels of a track is just bringing down the threshold a lot and then just bring the makeup gain up and just, you know, doing that. So I can actually, so you can really just do this. and it actually sounds good in this particular instance. So you can see we're getting 20 dB of gain reduction, which is an awful lot, but it still sounds good. It's not like it sounds bad at the moment. You know, clipping is mostly something you really only have to worry about clipping on the master track. Clipping individual tracks is not really a problem unless they are also clipping on the master. So if your individual track here is clipping, so I could be clipping this track, but if I then bring the volume back down on the group track like I'm doing here, which is set to -8 dB, it will not be clipping on the master. So, you know, clipping the individual tracks is not really a problem. But generally, you know, you do want to stay away from it. Some plugins respond differently to different audio input levels. So if you drive a level too loud into a particular plugin, like especially with distortions, they might, you know, just start to crap out. You know, they might just start to sound shit because the level going into the distortion is too loud. But other than that, clipping on individual tracks is not really a problem. So I think the heavy compression actually works. And now I could use maybe a high pass. So I think we should automate this to go down. And this one should go up. I guess that works. I'm gonna bring up the sidechain a bit, so we're gonna have less of that sidechain on the riser. And I'm gonna change the sidechain trigger track right here to have a 4 on the floor rhythm. Okay, so that works. Let's see. No problem, Mars. Thanks for the birthday message. Doesn't really matter that you can stay. If you want to see the stream after the stream is done, you can check my YouTube channel tomorrow and I will have the stream uploaded on there, so you will always be able to watch it back. I'm going to be streaming a lot on Twitch soon as well, so if you guys want to be seeing my Twitch streams, go to twitch.tv/ARTFXDNB. I'll be doing streams on there as well. And by the way, guys, if you want to donate some money and help me make more streams, do more frequent streams, basically donations will help me do a lot more streams in the future. So if you guys want to donate some money, then go to the description below this video, and there you can find a link to Streamlabs, which I think a lot of these streamers use to actually receive donations. So that would be what you can do, and that way you can help me out to make more and better videos, better streams. I'm working on getting a new computer, which will allow me to actually show you a lot more about the tracks that I make, and it would actually mean that I don't really have to freeze a lot of stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do now. And yeah, so if you guys want to help me out, that's how you can do it. We need something more. I had this little sound here. This is just a MIDI clip with a couple of notes in here, and it's sitting around C and B, C and A sharp, which are part of the F minor scale. I might be able to make something with this. Let's see. Let's see how this actually sounds with the track that we have. So I'm just gonna use Serum right now. Anyway, I like to see you more experimentation on NeuroDNB. I'm all about NeuroDNB, man. I mostly make NeuroDNB. I make Neurofunk, drum and bass. Sometimes I make glitch hop, which I like as well, and I might do some other stuff in more breakbeat tempos soon, but most of the time I'm working on drum and bass and Neurofunk. So if that's what you want, then definitely subscribe to this channel, because that's what you're gonna get. Let's see. So okay, the sound is actually not interesting at all, but this might actually be cool. Let's see if I can pick any of my sounds here. Okay, let's make tropical house, guys.
See, I'm a playboy.
Big up! Thanks, Levander, for your 10 euro donation. Seriously, big up. That's what we need. That's how we can make these streams better. And yeah, thanks a lot, man. I'm gonna try to have a donation ticker in the next stream as well, so that your guys' names will actually show up on the screen. I think that's something I should do, right? But yeah, thanks for the donation. Really, really thanks a lot. A 10 euro birthday present. Actually, you are the first person out of my family that's not part of my family that gave me a birthday present today. So big up to that. Thanks. Okay, this might actually be able, we might actually be able to pull this off. I think we should make this 8 beats long. That might work. Have you seen the Keep Forest Evolution Atlantica thing? Actually, no. I don't know what you're talking about. I imagine it's a track by somebody, but no, I haven't heard it. I haven't seen it, I haven't heard it. Sorry. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off that annoying serum reverb because I don't like the sound of it. It's a sample library. Oh, really? By which company? I haven't seen that library yet. I remember Spore Hydra, epic neuro track that have some nasty drum edits. Why today neuro producers afraid to use these sick breaks in compositions? I don't think people are afraid to use sick breaks. You know, there's plenty of tracks that use breaks in their tracks. Personally, I like to do it as well, a lot. But there's plenty of breaks in there. I mean, there's plenty of people using breaks, honestly. Drum and bass is all about using drum loops, using breaks and chopping them up and rearranging them and layering them with your main drum hits. That's how you create these big ass drums. Who's your favorite D&B producer right now? Damn, that's a hard question, but I think I'm gonna go with Matthews. Matthews is really blowing my mind with every track he does. But there's a few others. I mean, Emperor is definitely one of my favorite ones. Akov is also a really good guy. He makes some awesome tracks. Then, of course, always Noisia. Noisia is always going to be one of my favorite producers. Yeah, I mean, there's just a whole bunch of people out there that make sick-ass tracks. Impact has done some really good tracks as well. I can't really say any track title that I like the most, but I know I've heard some of his tracks and I actually quite like them. So yeah, there's actually a whole bunch of producers that I like. Akov has a really unique style. I really like what he does. Actually, I saw on his Instagram today that he's doing a breakbeat thing at the moment, and it's actually sounding pretty dope as fuck. So if you want to check that out, go check out Akov on Instagram. And while you're at it, also follow me on Instagram. It's at ARTFX DMB. Really simple, and that's gonna be how you can find me on social media. Just search for ARTFX or ARTFX DMB, and you will find me like that. You could get on UKF with your stuff. Yeah, probably. I might have to do that when my EP is done. Gonna be probably aiming for UKF and NEUROFUNK Grid, most likely, and similar channels. I think 2018 is the year for ARTFX. Let's hope so. I'm really working a lot on my tracks, and yeah, I think it could become a good year for me. I'm really seeing a lot of progression in my productions lately, so that's a good thing. Okay guys, I'm gonna be taking a little break, just gonna grab a drink real quick. I'll just let this play through. I'll just let this play through what we have without this synth. So I'll just play this through and I'll be back in a minute. One moment. So, let's see. Happy birthday, thank you, DJ Anonymum. I think that's Anonym. Damn, that's a hard name to say, dude. Anonymum. Yeah, the drop is great, don't you think? I think we should just leave it like this. Just have like a, I don't know, just have like a 48 bars of silence for the drop. I think that would be great. Right? It would be the most epic track ever. Do you do ghost production? Actually, I've done a few ghost production stuff in the past, but I don't do it too much. Honestly, I only do like productions for people. So if like a hip hop artist needs a beat, I might do a beat for that person. Or if someone needs like help with finishing a track, I might do that. You know, I might help people getting their mix downs to sound right. I mostly do mixing and mastering jobs for people, just helping people to get their tracks sound better. That's usually what I do these days. I don't really like to do ghost production because it takes a lot of time and effort, and I don't really get too much back for it, I would have to say. I mean, you do get paid for the track, but I mean, is it really worth it? Because making a track is quite a bit of effort. So, yeah, I don't really think I do ghost production too much. Could you start to drop for us? Interested to see your process. I might have to, well, we might have to do that in another stream, because I don't think we're there yet. We need to do a little bit more to the build-up first, but we might be able to get to, well, maybe starting on the drop today. Next step in the future of Neurofunk. Neurofunk in the last recent years has been lacking a lot of musicality. So most of the tracks really just focus around one particular key and then just focus on the sound design. So it really is just mostly a lot of sound design and textures, and that's what we've had for the last few years. I think that we're actually moving back into a more melodic thing. So I think you're actually going to see more orchestral stuff. You're going to see more chord progressions and really just more melodic stuff in the newer Neurofunk tracks. I mean, that's what I've been doing a lot recently, because I think melodic stuff does still work in Neurofunk. You just have to do it in a particular way. You know, you cannot do everything melodic wise. You can't have like a really melodic drop in a Neurofunk track. Most of the time it doesn't work. So you gotta realize that if you want something really heavy, most of the time melodic stuff is not really gonna be the best thing to do. But you can still do that in your breakdowns and intros. That's perfectly fine, and I think we're gonna see a lot more of that. And I mean, yeah, there is still melodic neuro stuff that works fine, definitely. TB, yeah, TB stuff is really good. I really like his stuff. I've actually been a fan of him for a long time. I remember his earlier tracks, and I was actually blown away by that. It's actually TB and artists, the early TB tracks and artists like that, like Ed Rush Optical, ID Hidden. Those are the artists that actually got me into music production. So, yeah. Or, well, those are the ones that got me into producing drum and bass. I was already producing hip hop back then, but yeah, those are just the artists that brought me into drum and bass. So we need some reverb on this sound, and I think we need a delay on here as well. Let's take a Valhalla reverb. And let's go with the vintage verb. So let's get rid of that right here, and we're going to bring up the reverb a lot towards the end. So I'm gonna automate some parameters here. I'm gonna bring that up towards a full wet signal. I think that's good, and I might want to raise the decay time as well. Not too much, just a little bit. And let's see, let's add a filter to this. And I'm gonna try to create a bit of a rhythm on here. Well, a rhythm, I'm gonna try and create a bit more movement. Let's wow, that's weird. That's weird. That little movement here. And we can always just try some different wavetables maybe. I'm going to consolidate this entire clip, and I'm going to get rid of these notes. I'm gonna do the same here. Let's see what happens if we add a delay to this. I'm a really big fan of ping pong delay. I really like the sound of ping pong delays. So let's try. I'm not gonna do too much. Let's see what happens if we make this really short. And I think I want to have it come in a bit, so do this maybe. And we have this filter, this low pass filter as well, which we can drop it down a little bit here and then bring it back up towards the end. And I think we should get rid of this particular thing right here. I don't think it's actually adding too much to this track. And then we should just continue it like that. And then we're gonna take that high pass filter and we're just really gonna high pass it a lot. And then I'm going to bring the filter back down. So just doing that. And that leads into the drop, which is great. So that's another section done, another instrument done. Okay, we need another riser. We need a synthesizer. That's what we need. I have a complete track from start to finish. I just haven't got the bass drop sounding right. Would you ever help with project like that if the price was good? Sure, of course. You are in my Discord server. Just send me a private message and I'll see what I can do. We can always talk about the prices, and I will basically we can always find out if we can make your track sound better. So just send me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. How long is the stream going? Damn guys, we're already streaming for 2 hours, more than 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's about 11:30 p.m. right now here. I'm gonna be continuing the stream for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'm gonna stop for today. And I might actually do another stream tomorrow, maybe. I will be going to a restaurant tomorrow evening with my family, with my parents and my sister for my birthday. So I actually have a little birthday dinner, but I might be able to do some stream tomorrow afternoon and work on this track a bit more. I'll definitely go into working on the drums and the bass in the next stream. I don't think I'll be able to make it in this stream. Because if we start on the drums and the bass today, it's only gonna be like a really basic thing that we're gonna make. So yeah, we're doing pretty good so far. Stream is going pretty good. Thanks for the birthday messages, guys. Thanks Josh and Overture. Glad to have you guys here, man. Glad to have you guys here. Also, if you want to see more streams, check out my Twitch. I'm gonna be streaming on Twitch as well. I'm trying to bring my viewers to my Twitch channel, where I'm probably gonna do most of my streams. I'm just doing them on YouTube now because this is where my audience is, and I'm just trying to see which of the two I like more. I've done 2 streams on YouTube now, with this stream included, and 1 stream on Twitch. So far, I do like YouTube more. I have more people on YouTube watching, so far I'll use YouTube for the streams, but I'm definitely gonna try Twitch as well. Yes, Josh, I actually have Discord. If you want to be part of the Discord server that I run, it's an awesome place to be. We are there 24/7 every single day. We're talking about music production. Check out the link in the description below this stream. There you can actually find a link to join my Discord server and yeah, be part of something awesome. So cool exemption. You have to go to bed and work tomorrow. Have fun on your work tomorrow, man. Hope you're gonna have a good day. And yeah, I'll catch you soon. So, if you guys want to help me out and want to see me do more frequent streams and actually see me stream on a regular schedule, then definitely leave a donation and subscribe to this channel and follow me or subscribe to me on Twitch as well. I'm going to be doing a lot more streams in the future. These are just the first couple of streams that I'm doing, and I'm really just getting used to streaming. So if anything is a little bit slow, or if anything is wrong with the audio, or the level, the volume of Ableton, or the quality of the stream, let me know in the comments. I'm just trying to get better at this and deliver some quality streams to you guys. Yeah, so would you try making some neuro trap someday? I don't think I will. To be honest, I don't really enjoy trap. There are some good trap tracks, but I don't enjoy making it myself. So I don't see me making any trap. It's a trap, boys. It's a trap. Although Neurotrap could actually work. Yeah, we needed a synthesizer. That's what I said. I keep forgetting what we're doing because I just keep looking at the chat. That's something I'll have to get used to though. Doing these live streams is completely different from making videos. I mean, during making videos it's just me sitting in front of a computer making a track, and now I'm actually making a track and you guys are looking at it, which is something completely different. riser with voice layer and some noise with pitch. We do have a little voice layer in here already. There's some choir layer in this riser. Now it's quiet though, but there is a choir in there. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna add some more risers. I might actually just add one of the risers that I made already, because like I said, I do a lot of sound design, and sound design is something really important, and you can actually make sounds before you're actually gonna use them. So like I have here, I have a folder called loops risers, and I just made folders for different lengths. As you can see, this is just the time it takes for the rise to happen, and I can just take any of these and just, you know, go in here and just drag it in. So here we have this one. Let's see how that sounds. See, so that might actually just work. I'm gonna have to drop it like there, drop it like that, so drop it like that. Why did I say that? It actually works. See, it's just stuff like that, you know, and it does kind of like sound like a helicopter. There's a lot of sub in here though. Although I do like the sub in here because it adds a bit of, I don't know, a bit of body to the riser maybe. Or should I do it like this? That could work. Just use that helicopter-y sound as a transition into the drop, and just add like a little bit of a riser underneath it. That could work. I feel very confident about my sound design, but I used to get blocked while arranging basses. Do you have any little tip for that? Just experiment. That's the best tip I can give you. It's not gonna be easy for me either. When I arrange my drops, it's also difficult. I'm struggling with the arrangement all the time. I might actually, by the time I'm done with the track, I might have changed the drop arrangement 4 or 5 times. Because I wasn't happy with how it was turning out. That's how much of a struggle it can be, and that's just generally the part of making music. You know, there are very little people that actually can make a track sound good right off the bat and just stick with it. Believe me, especially in drum and bass and neurofunk and genres like that, people change stuff all the time. It's like you're just working on a track and you have one section done, you work on the next section, and but by the time you're done with that section, you think, hey, the previous section sounds shit and doesn't sound anything like what it should be. I'm gonna change it up. That's just what happens all the time. So yeah, let's try a synth riser. I think I'm just gonna use Serum again. I'm actually a big user of Serum. I know the whole thing about people boycotting Serum right now, which to me makes no sense. I mean, they say they do it because everyone's tracks tends to sound the same right now. Well, that's maybe because everybody is using the exact same combination of stuff inside Serum. I mean, Serum is a really good plugin and you can make really original sounds with it. You just have to stay away from the stuff that everybody does. You know, everybody is using the FM sounding dubstep basses, you know, like the Terror Squad basses and stuff like that. And those sounds are overused. Also, what I see so many people do is just turning on all of these modules, you know, in every patch that they make, yeah, stuff is gonna sound the same if you use that multi-band compressor on every single patch. Stuff is gonna sound the same, you know. It's just a matter of what you do in the synth. So I still use Serum a lot, actually, and I find it to be a really good plugin. So we're gonna make a riser, a synth riser, and we are in the key of F. So I'm gonna create a long note in the key of F, and we actually have the rise stops here, so I'm gonna do a pitch bend to this, and I'm just gonna extend the pitch bend here, just gonna have it at the top pitch so that it just stays at a steady pitch right there. And inside Serum we're gonna put this to, I think 1 octave would be good. So now we can actually go and look for a wavetable that sounds good. So something like that could actually work. And let's assign a macro knob to this, to the speed of that LFO, and LFO 1 rate. Let's automate that over time so that we're getting a less fast movement of that LFO, and we need to drop this down a bit. Okay, that works. I might want to bring this up so that we don't get the... so that it comes up slightly. The rain sounds so good. Pure ASMR. I know. It's literally pouring outside again. It's been pouring outside all day. It's been really bad weather over here in the Netherlands, so... the weather here sucks, to be honest. Okay, let's do another layer. Let's try to do FM on the first one, so I'm gonna do FM from B. That kind of works. let's do some more movement with an LFO on this one, on the second frequency knob of the double notch, and I'm gonna do a slow rate here. So you can hear we're already getting a bit of that neuro sound right now. Let's just try layering in a saw wave. I think towards the end I want to bring up this as well, so we get a little bit of a wider sound towards the end of the build. We could try the reverb filter, but I think the reverb filter is one of those that has been overused a lot in Serum. But we can always try. I actually like that when you change it just a really little bit. Can we do that if we do a 1/2? Let's see if we can do something with that. Okay, that's awesome. That sounds nice. We can use this. Let's see how that sounds with the track. I actually think that sounds really nice. It almost sounds like a, I don't know, a race car that is shifting. It kind of gives that impression because it's rising and it's doing that weird, I don't even know what it's doing. It sounds pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm going to assign a macro to this as well, to the speed of this LFO. So that during the second half of the build-up I can actually speed this up. works, but I think I'm gonna bring it up even further so that we can do 1/8 notes as well. And we're just gonna do 1/4 here, and then we're gonna do 1/8 notes here, and then I'm gonna drop back down to what it was before, to the 1/2 bar. I think that works. I've just realized that if you play with the delay time around 50 with a high feed in Serum, it creates a very nice extra comb filter. What do you mean with the delay? Like the delay in the effects section, or with the reverb? I think with the delay. That's pretty. Yeah, that's awesome. You can definitely create some cool stuff like that. Keep it like that. Yeah, I think this is pretty nice. I think this sounds really cool. It's an interesting sound. Kind of a weird sound, but it's an interesting one. Let's see how much low end is in here, because we might actually have quite a bit of low end in this. The reverb filter really... Yeah, see, we have a bit of low end. I'm just gonna add a little bit of a volume fade at the start, so that doesn't come in straight away. And let's just raise that a bit, so it just cuts out at the start. I think that's nice. Let's see, some resonance, maybe add some stuff. Yeah, we would definitely need to add some more stuff to here. I can try one of my pre-made rises. Just try and add one more of those. Why did it create the audio track right there? That's odd. I want that audio track to be right here. Let's see, I have a few. That one might actually work. Let's double the tempo. Now we're getting really weird stretching artifacts, which I don't like. So I'm gonna switch to the tones one. And we can also try the texture one. I think that's nice. So what you can do is you can actually automate this inside the clip if you go to your envelopes right here, and then in here you can see you have the grain size modulation. So you first set the maximum value. So right here I've set the maximum value to what I want, and then you just add some automation in here. So you can just do this. And we definitely want to process this because there's a lot of low end that we don't need. So let's just high pass this. Get rid of that low end. And we can see some interesting stuff happening in here. We can see that it's actually dropping in pitch because of the grain size automation that we've done, but it's also rising in pitch because that's what the sample itself is doing. So you can see just by looking at the peaks in this equalizer, you can see that some of the harmonics are actually shifting down while other harmonics are shifting up. So that's a really, really cool effect. You can see these are just shifting down. See, and here in the top section they're kind of like shifting up, which is really interesting, but we don't need that much of the low end. And I think towards the end we actually want to automate that so that we really just do this. And let's just do it like that. So we've got a little bit more now. I think we need a second snare building up in the second half of the build up. So I'm gonna do that in the percussion group. Let's do it with a MIDI track because then we can easily swap out the snare sample and just pick the one that works. And what I'll do is I'll create a little pattern real quick. We'll do C3. I'm gonna do 1/8 note hits. And I'm just gonna extend this for the entire second half of the build-up. And now we need a snare sample. So I have a bunch of snares in here actually that I made myself. Let's just pick the first one. And we are in the key of C3, so that's good. Why so many neuro producers use high-pitched snares? Is it a trend? I think it started when Matthews really started using these ridiculously high-pitched snares. But you know, they tend to work. But I still use a lot of just, I tend to just like, you know, like breakbeat snares or hip hop snares. See, that is not really high pitched. See, there's countless of snares that you could use, and I've basically got a lot of them in here. I just feel that this high-pitched snare works for the intro. Works for the build-up, I should say. No problem, Feral. I'll be uploading this stream to my channel tomorrow, so you will be able to see it. I'll probably upload it tonight and probably be online tomorrow, so you'll be able to watch the stream then. Whip out operator. Yeah, I should whip out operator. I'm gonna do that in the next video when we're gonna work on a drop. I'm probably gonna be making some bass with operator or any other FM synth, but I'm definitely gonna work on that in the next stream. So we've been streaming for almost 3 hours. This is the longest stream I've done so far, and it's been going pretty well. Let's see. The stream has been doing pretty well. I can see so far we've had 1 donation today, which has actually been the first donation in my career as a streamer, so I'm really happy with that. And yeah, honestly guys, any donation you guys make will be used to buy my new computer so that I can make regular streams and do much more streams than I've been doing so far. I really want to get into this streaming game. I have been doing videos for the last few years, and I've been providing you guys with a lot of tutorials about production, and I've basically came to the point where I've been thinking, what do I want to do with my channel? And I think streaming is definitely going to be part of that. So if you guys want to see more frequent streams, then definitely follow me on social media, follow me on YouTube, and follow me on Twitch, where I'll be doing a lot of streams in the future. I'm also still going to be able to do tutorial videos as well, so if you guys have any ideas for tutorial videos, definitely go to my Discord server. You can find the link in the description below this stream. Join the Discord server and leave a message in the server if you want me to do a tutorial about a specific subject. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day for now. So if you guys have any more questions, this is the time to ask them. And yeah, I might be working on this track tomorrow again. I'm really liking how it's turning out. The build-up is really getting a lot of tension right now. It's starting to sound more energetic, which is kind of like what I wanted to do today. So yeah, we've been succeeding at that. Any questions about what we've done today, or just anything you want to ask me in general? I'll just play this and see if we have any questions come in. Do you have any videos about your Ableton template you're using, or tips how to make a good one so it'll be easier to start a new track? Making a template really depends on what you as a producer use a lot. So what I would do is I would just set up my template with just tracks laid out for things that I use a lot. So I know that every track I do is gonna have a kick and a snare, so I have a kick and a snare group. I know that any track I do is gonna have percussion, so I have a percussion group. Orchestral percussion is also there because I tend to use orchestral percussion in my tracks anyway. I don't always do, so sometimes I'll remove the track after I'm done with the intro, but usually I'll add some of that as well. And that is then going into a drum bus because I know I want to be able to process the entire drums as a whole. Then I know I'm always gonna have bass, so I'm gonna have tracks for those as well. I know I'm gonna have synths, I have tracks for that. So that's basically just what I do. It's just whatever you use a lot, make tracks for that and set it up so that you don't have to set it up every time again. And you can have multiple templates, have like one specific for sound design, and just have a whole bunch of chains set up with distortion or filters or delays or any type of processing, so that you can really just make sounds in a synthesizer and then just quickly throw them through different types of effect chains to come up with interesting sounds. And you can just create a whole bunch of projects like that. So have one dedicated for distorting sounds and creating really distorted stuff. Maybe have one project which you'll use for creating and processing drums, because you might be doing that a lot. So it's just a matter of, you know, thinking like what do I do a lot and what do I spend a lot of time on, and then trying to make a template that, well, takes some of that time away. That's basically what you should do. Did you ever try modular synthesis? When I was still working in FL Studio, I made, before I switched to Ableton Live, I actually switched to Reason, and that was before, that was Reason 1.5, I think. And Reason had a little bit of a modular feel in terms of how it worked. And that did got me a bit into how modular stuff works. And I saw this, I forgot the name, but I saw this new plugin, or it's actually a standalone piece of software, which is basically just emulating modular synths. It's basically emulating the Eurorack synth, which is really great. I haven't tried it out yet. I think it was called VC Rack or something like that. I should really check it out because I saw it being posted on Twitter and on Instagram, and it really looked interesting. So, I mean, modular synths are great, but I just couldn't justify buying a modular synth, to be honest. I really don't have the money to buy that. I mean, I've been saving up money for a new computer for quite a while now. And I'm slowly getting there, so that's why I have that's why I've set up the donation stuff as well, because if you guys want to help me out and just, you know, want to see more streams, every little donation helps a lot. So yeah, that's just what I've been doing now, and I'm gonna be saving up all my money I get for a new computer, so I can't really justify buying hardware synths or any stuff like that. I mean, that's just gonna cost you another ton of money, which I don't have. So yeah, that's not something I can do. I just like to work in the box. What studio monitors and audio interface you're using at the moment? I'm actually still working on a pair of old Alesis monitors, which are some pretty small monitors. I'm currently talking to a company about some new monitors which I might be getting. They're looking pretty awesome, and I'm really in the need for an upgrade because I've been working on these small Alesis M1 active monitors for quite a while. I mean, I've been working on them for like 7 years, I think, and I know them really well, so I can get really good mixes on them, especially when I combine it with my headphones. So they're good for what I do, but I definitely need bigger monitors, something that gives me a better representation of my low frequencies. That's definitely what I need. So I might be getting an upgrade to my monitors soon. The audio interface that I'm using is a Focusrite 2i4, which I personally really love, but I do want to upgrade that as well. I want to upgrade to the Focusrite 18i20 or something similar, which is the bigger rack, 19-inch rack mounted audio interface. I kind of want that because I have a hardware rack in my studio, which is currently not set up. It's currently not hooked up to my audio interface because I don't have enough inputs and outputs. I could set it up and just have my audio run through that hardware rack so I could process my sounds with the hardware that I own. But then I would basically just have to set it up in series so that the sound goes through the entire rack, which I don't want. I actually want to be able to use the different hardware racks, the different hardware rack units that I have. I want to be able to use them separately from each other. So ultimately I would have to hook up every single one of these devices to a different input and output on my audio interface so that I can actually run a drum part through the hardware compressor and not through the enhancer and the limiter, which I own. So, you know, that would be something for the future, and upgrading to the rack mounted audio interface would be great because I can actually just put it in the rack itself. And yeah, that's definitely what I'll be looking into as well. But you know, the new computer is definitely first priority right now because I need more CPU power and more RAM to actually be able to show you the full, the full production process of a track. I don't think with this computer I can actually show the entire process unless I bounce and resample a lot of stuff to save CPU. So we're gonna get to the end of the track though. I mean, we're gonna just bounce as much as we have to get it done, but a better and faster computer is definitely gonna be a necessity to make better streams and to not have to spend so much time bouncing stuff all the time. What about a track review live stream? I'm gonna be doing track reviews, feedback streams as well. I don't know when I'm gonna be starting with those, but I'm gonna be doing them in the future. The plan is to actually start doing regular streams. So right now I don't have a streaming schedule. I just stream whenever I have time to stream. But the plan is to actually set up a schedule and stream on particular days. So just stream every Saturday or every Sunday or just stream on set days. And I'll probably be doing like one production stream and one feedback stream every week, or maybe just do a production stream in the first week of the month and do a feedback stream on the second week, something like that. So if you guys have any ideas for that, definitely let me know in my Discord server or on social media. Just send me a message and just let me know what you think is going to be best. But also, right now I'm working on a few jobs in music production. I'm doing a mix down job, and I'm doing some sound design jobs for sample packs and preset packs, basically all to get enough funds for a new computer. That's basically it. And after that is done, I think I'll be able to start doing regular streams, because right now I'm just having to spend a lot of time on those projects, so I don't have that much time at the moment. But every little time I find, I just try to do a stream or a video. So yeah. Welcome Morgan Grennan. You're pretty late to the stream. We've been streaming for 3 hours, but don't worry. The stream will be online on my channel tomorrow, so you'll be able to watch it back if you want to. So, is there any more questions? Are there any more questions? Because we've been streaming for 3 hours now, and it's past midnight right now. So it's officially not my birthday anymore. Can you let the song play to finish it off with? I will do that before I end the stream. I'm just gonna see if there's any more questions coming in the next, the next 5 minutes or so. Next couple of minutes. So is there any feedback on the stream itself, by the way? Do you guys have any feedback on how I can make the future streams better? Billion have epic sound design on NeuroFUNK. Yeah, Billion is a god when it comes to NeuroFUNK. I really like his tracks. He's been doing some really great stuff. Billion is absolutely a great guy. I mean, there's a whole bunch of producers that I like, but Billion is definitely one of them. The only thing though I find is that his mixdowns are usually quite messy. He has a few tracks which are actually pretty good tracks, but a lot of times I find the drums have a lot of dirt to them, which is good in a way, because a lot of times you want to have dirty sounding drums and dirty sounding basses when you make NeuroFUNK, but I think sometimes he can actually tone it down a little bit and just get a little bit more of a cleaner sound, which will help to make the drums, you know, punch through the mix a bit better, because I find sometimes they tend to get lost a little bit in his mixdowns. But other than that, his sound design and his arrangement and composition is just absolutely insane. And his work with the rhythm is absolutely insane as well. I love how he does these really crazy rhythms, especially with the bass. I mean, when you listen to his tracks, especially the interaction between the bass and the drums is really insane. So yeah, that's definitely something to look at if you are trying to make NeuroFUNK. But you know, there's other guys as well. I mean, I'm loving the drum stuff that Matthias does, for instance. Matthias, I don't know, his drum stuff, he creates these really interesting rhythmic things with really weird sounds a lot of the time. So yeah, that's something really interesting as well. And then again, you know, there's guys like Noisia, which are always amazing me with the insane intros and the crazy basses that they use. And yeah, so every little one of these artists has its own thing that I really like about them. Hybris is also really cool. He makes some awesome tracks as well. Also, you know, stuff like Black Sun Empire or Optical or Icicle. All really good artists. Phase is also great. Misanthrope is also really great. So there's a ton of good NeuroFUNK producers out there. Will you go to Blackout XL? Well, I don't have plans to go there, but you know, I don't know where it is, Blackout XL, but I might go someday. I used to go to drum and bass parties a lot, actually. I've seen pretty much all the big drum and bass guys from like the post 2000 era. I've seen them all live, pretty much. I've been to a lot of drum and bass parties, so tips for beginners. That's a really broad question that you're asking. Tips for beginners. Just produce, experiment, and produce and have fun. I think that's the best tip you can give a beginner, because ultimately there's so many stuff to learn when you're a beginner, and you just have to start somewhere. You know, just have to start somewhere and just have fun. That's the most important thing. And never surrender, indeed. Never give up. Just keep on going. How hard it can be, just keep going. You'll get there eventually. Don't make EDM. Yeah, that's a good one. Don't make big room house, guys. You don't want to make big room house. So yeah, guys, I think I'm really gonna call it a day right now. We've been going for more than 3 hours, and we're doing pretty good. So if you guys wanna help me out, support this channel, and help me out to do better streams in the future, definitely leave a little donation. Everything you can, you know, any little bit you can miss will help. And all I'm trying to do is get this new computer so I can make a lot more streams, a lot better streams. And I have been doing some soundtrack production as well, some like really cinematic stuff, and I really want to show you guys that. But I'm not going to be able to do that with this current computer. probably I was working on this a little bit this week, which actually is only 30 seconds long, and even though it's only 30 seconds long, my computer is just crapping out on me whenever I play it back. There's so much stuff going on from Contact that my computer just craps out. It just doesn't like it at all. So that's definitely what I'm gonna be working on in the future. So if you guys want to help support me, check out the description below this stream. You can find a link to my Streamlabs page where you can actually leave a little donation if you want. I'm not forcing you to do anything. Any little bit helps, but only if you can miss it. I don't want you guys to, you know, send me money that you need for yourself, that you need to live your life. I just wanna, you know, if you guys can miss anything, that would be great, but I'm not forcing you to do anything at all. If you want to see more videos, more streams, subscribe to this channel, and also check out my Twitch profile. So go to twitch.tv/ARTFXDNB. On there I'm gonna be doing streams as well in the future, so definitely check that out. If you want to make some neurofunk and you're looking for good samples, I also work for Black Octopus Sound, where I'm gonna be doing sample packs. I've released all my sample packs that were previously available on my website. I've released on Black Octopus Sound, so you can now go to the Black Octopus Sound website and get those packs. There's a bunch of sample packs and a bunch of preset packs. There's actually a really big sample pack aimed at Neurofunk drums with, I think it was about 2,000 samples, mostly individual drum samples, but also a lot of percussion loops and interesting stuff to layer on top of your drums. If you're looking for samples that are gonna help you make better Neurofunk, then
See, I'm a playboy.
definitely do that. Thanks, Rick Cucumber, for the €1 donation, man. I love cucumbers, actually. They're really, really good and really healthy as well. That's great. So if you want to get some good samples that are really heavy and will punch through a mix and that are gonna be a good starting point for any neurofunk or drum and bass track or something like glitch hop, neuro hop, or dubstep, check out ARTFX Neurofunk drums on Black Octopus Sound. You can also get it on Loopmasters or on Splice or Beatport Sounds or any one of the other big sample pack stores. Also, if you want to see any of my other sample packs or preset packs, just go to the Black Octopus website and type in ARTFX. That way you will find all the packs that I have on there. I'm currently working on a bass sample and preset pack, which is going to go very well with the drum pack, so that is going to be released in the future. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys like this stream, and I'll be back soon with another stream. Keep an eye on my social media accounts to know when I go live. Subscribe to this channel and you'll be notified, and click the little bell icon as well so you get notified whenever I upload a video or go live on YouTube. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. It was a good 3 hours. We've had some great fun, and I think we should play this track before I leave. And yeah, the stream was great. Thank you. Thank you, Ronan Music. Thank you a lot. So, are you guys ready to hear the final thing of what we made today? There we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and by the way, guys, have a nice evening.